أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا بالقاسم محمد وعلى عترة الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأجل فرجهم. Welcome to another lecture, another talk on bringing it home, Ashura, and today we're looking at the brothers of Abbas ibn Ali. We're looking at how we can look at these personalities and bring it home into our lives so that we're actually using them as role models, so that we're actually using Ashura and bringing it home, not just listening to the lectures, crying and then moving on, but actually bringing it into our lives and bringing it home, into my life, into my characteristics, so that I grow from it and learn from it and become a better human being, a better Muslim, a better Shia, inshallah. So today we're looking at the brothers of Abbas ibn Ali. Before we go into this, let's look at the martyrs from the Banu Hashim, which were the sons of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So obviously we had Abbas and his three brothers, Abdullah, Jafar and Uthman, who were the sons of Imam Ali alayhi salam and Fatima Baneen. And then we had Abu Bakr, who was the son of Imam Ali alayhi salam from his wife Layla bint Masud Taqafi. And we had Muhammad, who was the son of Imam Ali alayhi salam from his wife Asma bint Umais. So today we're concentrating on the brothers of Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam. What can we learn from their lives? What is the bringing it home message from their lives? It's about family. I think that's the main thing that we can learn from them. We know that their father was Imam Ali alayhi salam and their mother was Fatima Baneen. We also know that Imam Ali alayhi salam was martyred when the boys were very, very young. So Abbas was around 16, 17, Abdullah was about 6, Uthman was about 2, and Jafar was only a baby when Imam Ali alayhi salam was martyred. So we have that literally the mother brought up 4 boys ranging from a baby to a 16-year-old. That's tough. And a lot of the times I feel like mothers, we don't think we can actually do service enough, teach our boys enough. I think we feel like we need to have the father. And yes, of course it's important to have the father. But Baneen showed that it is possible when life is such that she was left without a husband. She didn't give up. She knew the reason behind her marriage to Imam Ali alayhi salam. She knew what was the role that her boys had to play, and she made sure that they grew up knowing that. It's amazing how much she spent teaching her boys, how much time she spent teaching her boys, that they never questioned their role in Karbala. And so I think the bringing it home messages, as a mother, I have a huge role to play in my children's life, even if they are boys. On the day of Ashura, when Shimr comes and calls out to Hazrat Abbas and his brothers, and he says, "Where are the sons of my sisters?" They actually don't reply him until Imam Hussein alayhi salam tells his brothers, "Reply to him, even though he's a reprobate, he is from your maternal uncles." What Imam is teaching us here is the respect shown to family. Respect to certain individuals is given by Allah. So the respect to our parents is not earned, it's given by Allah because they are our parents. The respect to family is given by Allah. It does not need to be earned by the family members. The respect to elders is given by Allah. It doesn't need to be earned. The respect to teachers is given by Allah. All of these respect are things that we need to understand, is that this respect comes from Allah because of the status of the title, the status of the role that has been given to this person. So whether that person plays out that role properly or not, is their accountability to Allah. I still have to show respect because God has told me to respect that role. And at that moment, that person is playing that role. So I need to respect that person because of the role that has been given to them and because of the respect that God has told me to show that role. So Imam Hussein alayhi salam tells his brothers to answer to Shimr. So they ask him, what is it that you want? And he says, come and join my side, for you all have a guarantee of immunity. Do not get yourselves killed along with your brother. And they reply, do you imagine that we would leave our leader, our brother, and join you under your immunity? So the bringing it home message from this is that, first of all, don't take the easy route out. Sometimes the easy route is presented to us and it's very, very easy to take it. And we need to make sure that we don't take the easy route out. We do what is right. And sometimes, and most of the time, doing right is much more difficult. It would have been easy for them to take the immunity that Shimr handed over to them. What was difficult was to stay on the land of Karbala, to go through what they went through, to see all that, and then to be martyred. That was what was difficult. And so they ensured that they did not take the easy route out. And the other lesson is that although we are told to respect our family members, that does not mean we have to follow them, especially into haram. Respect does not mean obedience. So if they're doing something wrong, we need to tell them respectfully. We don't just follow them, whether they are our parents or our spouse or our children or our uncles or our aunts, whoever it is. We need to make sure that we don't follow in haram. We do not have to obey them. We have to respect them. There's a difference between respect and obedience. Obedience is only for Allah. And I respect everyone that as Allah has told me to respect out of obedience to Allah. Not because they deserve the respect, but because Allah has told me to. And that's very, very powerful. And finally, when Abbas sees the battle reaching a climax, he says to his brothers, advance, O brothers, so that I may see you supporting the cause of Allah and His Messenger. And they all went out without question, without sort of asking, well, why aren't you going? Why are you sending us? What right do you have to tell us to? We're old enough to know ourselves. Remember, they were much, much older. Karbala happened 19 years after the martyrdom of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. So Hazrat Abbas was what, 35? Abdullah was 25. Uthman was 21. And Jafar was around 19 years old. So they were all adults. Yet they didn't sit there and argue with their older brother. Again, elders in the family deserve respect. Hazrat Abbas was their elder brother. But they also listened to him because he was guiding them towards the truth. He was guiding them towards haqq. There was never this sibling rivalry between them where they felt that they had to get one up on the other one, or they felt that one was better than the other. They knew their place and they knew their role, and they knew that they could see the bigger picture, which was to support Imam Hussein alayhi salam. And that was what that's what they kept their eye on. And it's important, in order not to get into this sibling rivalry, is to love for the sake of Allah. I love my brothers and sisters because God has told me to. And therefore I don't feel the need to argue with them, or if I'm trying to explain something to them, it's because Allah would want me to explain it to them. So it's not my ego that comes into play. So the lessons that we can learn, the bringing it home from the brothers of Hazrat Abbas, is how important family is, how much of a huge role mothers can play in the bringing up of boys, and in the same way the huge role that fathers can play in the bringing up of girls. The respect that we need to show our family members, but not the obedience, especially when it comes to haram. And never to take the easy route out. And to love for the sake of Allah, and to respect our elders, so that we don't have this sibling rivalry. In fact, we don't have any kind of rivalry within our lives, because we love because Allah has told us to love, and we hate because Allah has told us to hate. Inshallah, if we can implement this in our lives, we will move on our spiritual journey towards Allah. Please join me tomorrow in the next session on bringing it home, Ashura. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.